Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the sign of Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Thank you so much for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. To everyone who is new to the channel, I appreciate you. Just a little reminder, please do not fall for any scammers or respond to anyone who reaches out to you to offer a personal reading. I will never offer personal readings first. I will never reach out to you. I do offer personal readings, but I will never reach out first. I won't solicit from you. If you are interested in a personal reading or interested in donating, there is a link in my About section of my YouTube page. And I also have an Instagram channel as well by the same name. So Gemini, you are the very last reading of this cycle of readings, my introductory readings of the zodiac. So last but not least, save the best for last, whatever you like to say about that. I'm going to pull tarot from the Tarot of Mystical Moments by Katrin Waldstein, which is an amazing deck, and your oracle card will come from the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. So it has been pre-shuffled. I will shuffle now for the cards. I never choose cards. I just let them. Oh, isn't that amazing? Card of Gemini, I just have to tell you. Card of Gemini just flipped out, but it did come out in reverse. King of Swords. King of Swords is, for me, very strong Gemini energy. Some people attribute it to Libra, but not me. So, oh, Gemini. Gemini. I hope all of you are doing well. 5 cards came out, and I'm going to pull 5 clarifiers. And then we'll get started. Wow. Gemini. I don't know what it is with my voice, with the way that the cards were shuffling and feeling in my hand. Everything, it's like Spirit's very eager to talk to you. Very eager to get this message out. So that's good. But even in the way that I'm talking, it feels very... I don't know, maybe because this is the last reading of this cycle, I have had, 11 opportunities before this to kind of warm myself up for these readings and for being on YouTube, but maybe it's just your energy, your higher self, your spirit guides really wanting to make their point. So here we are. In the past position, you have card of Gemini in the minor arcana, the King of Swords in reverse, represented here by just such an absolutely beautiful energy. It's brilliant blue, representing the throat chakra. It's interesting though, in a couple cards in this deck, the eyes are kind of, in one of the other cards, it looks kind of like this with the bird kind of covering an eye. It's actually in the Sun card. Which I think is so fascinating because it's almost like a little bit of like, it's like peekaboo energy, or just kind of wanting to stay a little bit under the radar, stay a little hidden. You do have this card in reverse though, we'll talk about it. It is clarified by the Four of Cups in the upright. Four of Cups can talk about a card of apathy, kind of resignation to something, just an acceptance, but also, I don't know, I just want to say ho-hum energy. Just really, it feels a little like a bummer energy, to be honest with you. It just feels very lackadaisical, kind of indifferent. Indifferent is the word that is most appropriate here. For the King of Swords, typically the King of Swords in the upright would represent someone who is brilliant, an authority figure, somebody who might be of a kind of profession that carries a lot of authority in society, like a judge or a lawyer, a doctor, a therapist. It is represented by divine masculine energy here, but doesn't mean it has to be a man that we're talking about, though I do feel it is a Gemini we are talking about, and you most specifically. So when we have your card representing you as the first card that comes out, and it's in reverse in the past position, it kind of just tells me that you have not been feeling quite yourself. You've been almost, I want to say, have you lost a little bit of your zest, your hope, your fortitude, your passion for something? Because it's almost like, even the way that I'm holding it now, it's almost like she's looking at this figure of someone not feeling quite in their element and thinking, okay, what else do I have? I'm just going to kind of bleed into the ground. I'm noticing this coloring here. It's almost like she's just, and it's so interesting too, because it's a cups card. Cups in the tarot, if the swords in the tarot represent air energy, as you, the Gemini, represent air energy, the cerebral, the logistical. I don't know why I was just blanking on, I wanted to say statistical, but that's something I've never said, so I kind of paused for a moment. I'm not going to pause about that. Statistical, whatever that means for you. Somebody in the logic space, somebody using a lot of rationality. And cups, the suit of cups in the tarot represents feelings, lots and lots and lots and lots of feelings. Lots of empathy. Air and water don't often mix very well. They're just kind of odd. It's like they're an odd couple. So when you have a cups card representing an air card, clarifying an air card, kind of feels a little off. So maybe you're not feeling in your element right now because you're stuck in your feelings, and you don't like that, or rather this was the past energy. So it could have been something here that was a disappointment to you, and Spirit wants to tell you, because this card has showed up several times now in these readings, Spirit wants to tell you they've been protecting you this whole time. Right? Umbrellas represent kind of a shelter, a protection from Spirit. This represents Spirit. That whatever it is that made you feel a little bit off center and with a lack of alignment, it's simply because you weren't meant to be continuing on the path that you may have been following. That Spirit is kind of redirecting you, right? Rejection is protection, and redirection is what one of my favorite tarot readers, Baba Jolie, likes to say. If you've never checked out Baba Jolie, you should definitely check her out. Baba Jolie on YouTube. She's amazing. I'm gonna start recommending a lot of my favorite tarot readers and mediums on YouTube, because they just have been my teachers, and I owe them a lot of gratitude. So anyway, she always says protection is redirection. Rejection is redirection. So in the present energy, you have the Devil in reverse. Very first time this card has shown up for any of the signs. None of the other signs got the Devil card, and not even Capricorn, and Capricorn is represented by the Devil card in the tarot in the major arcana. Just you, Gemini. How lucky, right? Gemini, I mean, you wouldn't be anything if you weren't in the extremes of things, and gotta love Geminis. So we see here this kind of divine feminine figure, but also doubling as this mushroom. So when I think of these mushrooms, that kind of reminds you of like gnomes and Christmas time. These kinds of mushrooms, these red mushrooms, which I don't remember the name of, they grow at the base of a particular tree, and they stick out in the wild so that they can, I think, attract a certain animals to come and eat them. I think that's it. Don't quote me on that one. I think that's what it is, though. Like kind of natural selection in terms of why they're so vibrantly colored. So it's almost like there was, because you did get this card in reverse, there was something that was luring you in the past that was it seemed really seductive, like you wanted to go after it, that you wanted to consume it, that you thought it was going to be great for you. And what ended up happening was you just got caught in this like trap, this web. I wanted to say web of lies, but I don't know if that's what it is, but I wanted to say it, so here we go. This web of confusion and lies or something like that. But you did get this card in reverse for this current energy. So it's like you're banishing that energy from your life, and you're just not dealing with it anymore. It's devil energy. It's not about evil energy. It's about codependency. It's about the things, you know, we all have a little bit of the devil in us. So it's like, how do we overcome that? How do we shed light on it? How do we heal from the things that devil energy represents, which is addiction, codependency, negative self-talk, negative self-image, right? Kind of body dysmorphia, things like this, or greed, things that don't serve our higher good, very low vibration. Then I wanted to say low-hanging fruit. Maybe you went after the low-hanging fruit. Can't get any lower than the ground, right? No judgment. But this is just what's coming out. But you're not in that energy anymore. Like you're kind of looking back on that and saying, I'm leaving that in the past. And why I say this is that it's clarified by the Page of Cups, which is such another Cups card to clarify something. But what a beautiful new beginning, a new energy. I want to start something new, and I don't want to come from the space of codependency. I want to come from the space of genuine authenticity, coming from an authentic heart space. And I keep touching my heart space. So I guess it's more right here, my heart space. I want to give back to the world something that is beautiful, that is so uniquely me, uniquely you. I want to be playful again. I don't want to get caught up in this mess, right? That's the energy you're in right now. That's a beautiful energy to be in. Like, maintain that. You might be in the beginning stages. You may have just, sorry, I just need to light a candle here. Another candle. I already have 2 lit. You may have just gotten out of whatever this this devil energy is. I actually feel compelled. I have a piece of selenite here. I feel compelled to wave this selenite wand over your reading and over you, because you've worked so hard. You're clearing that energy now. I have not done this. Gemini, your reading is very unique because I haven't done this for anyone else. So kind of spirit is helping you to just, you know, you're cleansing yourself. You're starting over. You're starting anew. It's like you're almost like this water energy. I want to say you're reborn. I want to say you're reborn. Wow. Very powerful. But in the future energy, it's kind of like, no, now what do I do? 2 of Pentacles. Pentacles represents earth energy. So what's going on in the material world, what you and I can affect with our words and our hands and our intentions and our actions, right? 2 of Pentacles, though, it's a card of kind of a little bit of juggling, a little bit of back and forth. I want to say balancing act here. Sorry if the glare from the candle is... I like to use natural light, but now I have a lamp on and I have a candle, so there you go. So it's a little bit of a balancing act in your future energy, just kind of wondering where to go from there. But here you have, oh, see, isn't that beautiful, the candle now? Illuminating the King of Wands. It's your second king in your reading. King of Wands, as you can see, very powerful root chakra energy and sacral energy happening here. That there's this kind of explosion of action and creativity and passion. And so following your heart's desire. And that's very, very exciting. But first, to be able to follow your heart's desire, you have to make a decision about something. You have to, and not just make a decision, you have to act. So if it's this idea that we're balancing pentacles in our hand, if pentacles represent opportunities and finances and networking connections and our material world status, right? We're balancing. The idea is that, okay, you can do this for a while, but eventually you're going to have to put something down so that you can focus your energy on whatever it is that you're trying to manifest here, whatever it is that you're trying to make happen. Because shockingly, we're not actually meant to multitask too much. We've been conditioned to multitask, especially with the advent of this kind of digital technology that allows us to do many things at once. But have you ever noticed that when you kind of spread yourself and your energy and your attention too thin, you don't end up finishing anything? Maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but it's just an example. We're not actually meant to multitask too much. So Spirit is saying in the future, it's going to be up to you to put something down so that you can focus very, very strongly. And once you focus on it, all of that energy is going to go to that one endeavor, and it's going to, I heard, pay dividends. I don't want it to make it all about money or anything, but maybe that's a concern of yours right now. It's going to be fruitful. You're going to have a harvest. That's what I want to say. Now, what's so unbelievably beautiful about this, and Spirit doesn't make any mistakes in the cards that flip out. You have the Queen of Swords in your advice from Spirit. So now you have a divine match. Although one is in reverse. You have the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. This is really relevant. So even the way that I held it up just now, you see how the Queen of Swords is always, if he represents truth and authority, she's asking for truth and authority. She's been through a lot, the Queen of Swords. The sword suit is all about kind of overcoming, you know, if we get too much in our head, we can actually do more harm than good, right? The idea of anxiety, the idea of overthinking, being trapped in our thinking, in our cycles. And if we're not telling ourselves the right message, getting trapped in that thought process. So that's kind of the journey of the sword suit. If you are not familiar with tarot, by the time we get to the Queen, she's already been through it. It's like, been there, done that. I've already been through that energy. And now I'm just seeking one final act of clarity. She in the Rider-Waite Tarot, which is the kind of standardized deck that most people use when they first start out. The Queen of Swords has a sword in her hand, and she has her hand extended, and she's like, give me the truth, or, you know, I'll cut you, right? She's always like, give me the truth. And so here she's searching for the truth on this hot air balloon, which is so funny because like my candle is right here, kind of what would be fueling that. So there's something relevant to that. That's, you know, when I read tarot, sometimes things are happening outside the window. I'm paying attention to the Rolodex in my mind of songs and memories and whatever to be able to channel these messages for you. So the fact that it's a little later in the day when I'm recording this and the candle is fueling this hot air balloon, or this idea, this hot air balloon, there's relevance there. There's something here, excuse me, that needs to be, it's like fanning the flame. Like you need to give it a little bit of air, give it a little bit of oxygen, and allow the truth to rise up, right? I always say this because I manage a team, and sometimes when things go down, I always say, well, the truth will out. I even refer to myself as like, I'm just like not wanting to deal with something. Well, the truth will out. The truth always does. It always has a way of showing up. And if you aren't getting ahead of it, it will come for you, you know. And so the Queen of Swords, she can be a little bit of a cold energy, but she's just seeking clarity. Clarifying her is the Lovers. This is Gemini energy in the major arcana. You showed up in your own reading. Excuse me. This is what I say to people when I do private readings and I know what their sign is and it comes out through their major arcana card. I say, you showed up in your own reading. It's almost like really, really cementing, right, with the King of Swords and the Lover's card, that this is for you, Gemini. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not talking about somebody in your life. I'm talking about you. Lover's card doesn't just represent romantic affiliation. It can represent family, and it can represent a choice, the choice card. What's so beautiful about this is what I see here. Her skirt is kind of represented by these blue feathers, and I see these blue feathers on this character here, right? Again, I'm seeing, remember how I said air and water were like an odd couple? Well, here's the odd couple right here, and hey, guess what? They're making it work. What an odd couple they are, but they're making it work. It's almost like there's compromise energy here, but like of the best, the highest version. She's adorning a dress made of feathers, and he is wearing a top hat, right? It's kind of like they're taking a little piece of one another. And still being totally themselves, but embracing this energy, right? So there's something in you. It's like getting Spirit. This is advice from Spirit. It's like get back to yourself, your roots, the things that you love in life. It could be a hobby, right? With the Lover's energy, it could be just something that you love to do and you haven't done in a while. I wanted to say fishing. I don't know where that came from. Fishing? Maybe you always love to go out on the water and you just have been so busy with work that that thing you wanted to do, you haven't been able to do. Well, Spirit's saying get back to that. That's part of your truth too, which is what you're drawn to. You know, maybe you were a fisherman in your past life, or you were a sea captain or something, and you know, you may be a banker in this life, but maybe in the past life you were a pirate. Who knows? I don't know. It's just an example, but it's getting back to this heart space, this love energy of, and making the decision, right? Putting something down so that we can focus all of our resources and energy onto it, and then reaping the rewards in this really beautiful space of harvest and acceptance and investment. My ear is ringing. That's the first time my ear has really, really rung like that in all 12 of the readings. It kind of did it a little bit before in this year, but it just very clearly came. Spirit really clearly came. I don't know if this is just for one single Gemini out there, but please heed the message. Your spirit guides are with you. They're guiding you. Listen to yourself and you're listening to them. Quiet the mind. Hard for Gemini to do. And don't quiet it through devil energy. Do you know what I mean by that? Don't quiet it through drinking or, I mean, do what you want. It's up to you. This is a suggestion from Spirit. Don't quiet it by, you know, and drinking and substances. The devil can be very wrapped up in substances. You don't believe me? Look on Google and look up the devil card. It can talk about addictions. We're not looking to quiet the mind with that anymore. Quiet the mind simply means meditation or going out in nature, taking a very robust hike, being in a pool, being in the ocean. and just swimming and being silent. It's amazing how much of yourself you'll meet when you're in that headspace. That's your advice from Spirit. In how you see yourself right now, this is beautiful energy. King of Pentacles, really represented by the Divine Feminine in this card, right? So a soft touch needs to be employed here. Pentacles energy is about abundance, and the King of Pentacles has more than enough. More than enough. And it's time that you look at it that way, because you may not be at this time. Five of Cups is clarifying that. Look at this. It couldn't be more poetic in its message here. If the King of Pentacles represents somebody who has achieved a level of achievement, I can't believe I just said that, who has achieved a level of prosperity, a status in life with either your job or, you know, maybe some of you are kind of social media people, or maybe you kind of married your dream person. I don't know. Achieved something of a high status, but it's clarified by the Five of Cups in the column of how you see yourself. Five of Cups energy talks about, Five of Cups energy talks about needing a change of perspective. It's a very sad energy. It's kind of like looking at the flowers that have fallen off the branch and refusing to look at the ones that are still there. If we do some tarot math, and I like to call it tarot math, if we look at the Two of Cups, the Two of Cups in the tarot represents divine union, right? In the minor arcana, the Two of Cups is the Lover's card in the minor arcana. The Three of Cups is celebration. So there could be something here that you didn't celebrate, you weren't able to celebrate, and it's almost as if some of these flowers have fallen off their branches, right? But Spirit is cautioning you, look at the things that you still have, the Two of Cups, that beautiful relationship or connection with another, that you can recapture this energy again. It also helps to be in a space of gratitude. Gratitude is really big with Spirit, right? Like, because it's so high vibration. We're talking about energy. I don't know what Spirit means to you, or if you call it God, or you just say, I don't believe in any of that, but I do believe in energy in the universe. Whatever name you call it. There's a part of you that's here right now for a reason, and you know that there's something else out there. So it's this idea that if you are energy, and you give off a certain energy, then that energy will boomerang back to you. It can be as simple as that. So are you giving off kind of bummer energy where you're just like a little bit of self-pity? The Five of Cups can be known as a self-pitying energy. Or do you want to recapture and regain what is rightfully yours? We are all... Okay, I see a very specific example right now. You know how there are some people in the world, I'm sure you've seen videos, I'm specifically thinking of some people in India, right? The largest population in the world, like per capita, I think. I don't know, it's either India or China. There are a lot of people. And some of them live in absolute abject poverty. But they're not poor in their heart. I mean, you see some people in the interview, they live in poverty. They live in conditions that they should not be living in. But their attitude brings them joy. And they will not feel disconnected from the universe because they're so intimately acquainted with it, because they live in a space of gratitude. I always wonder about that. I hope I never have to find out, but we've all been in moments where we felt so low, like we didn't know where we were going to go next. How did you bring yourself up out of that, right? So Spirit wants me to bring that up for a reason. That's your reading, Gemini. I'm going to pull one card for your oracle. Wow. I don't think I've ever had this card flip out, and this is the deck. This is a lot of cards. In all the readings that I've done, personal readings, you got the Queen. The Queen, number 11. That's a divine master number. You see the lotus here and the moon. Wow, this is beautiful energy. The Queen. Let's read about it. Number 11. I read from the book. The Empress. Wow, beautiful, 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 beautiful. The Empress, the Mother Queen, the Sovereign. Like her counterpart, the King, the Queen has a dualistic nature. Either she presides over a realm with grace and eloquence that comes from the heavens to uplift the spirit of others. Isn't that something? Let me read that again. Either she presides over the realm with grace and eloquence that comes from the heavens to uplift the spirit of others, or, wow, thunder is happening outside right now, or she falls into petty, contemptuous moods, casting a shadow across the land. So it's kind of like the difference of an uplifting energy or a little bit of pettiness. If the King is the ego, the Queen is the expression of that ego in the world. She is the lotus's bloom, the dancer's bow, the moon's radiant reflection. When the Queen is seated in her rightful and righteous place, she is patient and forgiving. She waits for the grace of God and Goddess to move through her, striving and grasping for nothing. To be benevolent, to be the benevolent leader, to embody the Queen, is to settle into deep trust, resolve, and power. The royal Queen fears nothing, for divinity itself cradles her heart. So it's kind of like Spirit saying, remain in your Empress energy, in high vibration, and you will be the great attractor of abundance. So that's your reading, Gemini. I hope you liked it. I hope you resonated with it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate it. Bye, Gemini.